Oh my God, faces. Oh
It's
my
a joke, bro. It's a
guys.
joke.
Boys.
Joke. It's a joke. One, first
Don't
of
want no
all,
fucking counselling from no one today. Just
wait,
speak your shit.
first of all, Neeks bun you for what you said last week, bro. Screw you, fam. I
What,
haven't
what,
seen you in
What did he
person
say?
today. About the we're too good for the Europa League
No, I
nonsense.
don't.
Yes,
Yeah, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't
Hey,
say that. I didn't say
hey,
that. I
hey,
said, I said Varane. That's what I said. Casemiro and especially Varane is too good. Varane went injured and it all fell apart, isn't it?
okay, cool.
What
Anyway,
you want me to do?
I just have to say that I've had a long flipping day as it is. My head was already flipping hot. And I already just know, I put it in the group chat for a reason. I said in the group chat, this day ain't got it. Because of my day, I already know what United are going to do. And they just gone and flipping did it. Now you can call DZ, you want to blame me for negative vibes? No, this is flipping Man United, bruv. This is what they're on. I put this down to one person. And I don't like to bag on people way too much because, you know, footballers are people too, innit? But Harry Maguire, how on earth, as a Manchester United captain, you make that mistake and you set the tone? He set the tone for the rest of the game. And for every time we had the ball, we were shaky, we were worried, didn't know what on earth he was going to do with it next. How can that be your captain? That is not good enough for the captain of Manchester United. Then you've got De Gea, then you've got Sancho, Martial, you've got all these different players. But for me, the entire loss of today's game stemmed from that moment because he's supposed to lead by example, but he's calling for the ball and not being aware of what's surrounding him. He looked that way. He didn't even look the flipping way he's supposed to pass. It's just all a joke. And you can call me reactionary or whatever. For me, season done. I've had enough. We go into the FA Cup. If we win it, if we win the game against Brighton, cool. If we somehow miraculously beat Man City, then I'm happy. But just focus on it. Focus on the flipping league because I wanted this Europa League. I did.
The thing is, KJ. The thing is, obviously, Maguire is at fault for the first goal, 100%. But we lost this tie. As bad as this game was, and it was a terrible game from start to finish. We were never in it. Barely created a chance.
Yep.
We lost this tie in the last 10 minutes of the first leg. In honesty, because when those two goals went in, was anyone really confident going to Sevilla and winning? I was like,
they weren't either, clearly.
And I said when I was on, obviously, there's a DR Sports where I made those statements. I said we needed to leave that first leg with a 2-goal lead at least.
Mm-hmm.
A 1-goal lead, you said, all right, we'll take it. It's going to be tough. But to leave there 2-0 up and then drawing 2-2 in the manner that we did, we handed all the initiative to Sevilla. And on top of that, with obviously the 2 injuries, Martinez, Varane going off injured in that game, and Bruno being suspended, it was always going to be a long game. We had to really pull something out. And what we've seen today, if you didn't know already, that those players that played today, or the majority of them anyway, haven't got it in them to pull out what we would have needed to pull out to overturn. Effectively, it's a bit of a deficit. I know there's no away goals, but you're going away to Sevilla and you have to win. And as you said, Maguire, as the captain, is supposed to set the tone, and he set a terrible tone. But he set a tone that are we really surprised? We're not really surprised. We expect a mistake from Maguire every game, and we're in the position we are this season because players like him, not just him, but players like him, Lindelof, and others haven't been starting multiple games this season because we have made improvements in certain positions and we haven't had to deal with what we've had to deal with in the last few years. And today, if anything, for me, just said this clear out in the summer has to be huge because yes, first team players will get injured, but if the backups are putting in performances like this, then we're never going to get out of this mess because you're going to have to rely over the course of the season. You have to rely on your backups, and our backups, as much as some of our first team players, but our backups are unreliable. David De Gea is unreliable. He's a first team player. Sancho is in and around the first team, very unreliable. 2 years. I give new players 2 years. This is his second season, and he has done nothing of even worth speaking about in a Man United shirt. So for me, it's up to Ten Hag. If Ten Hag wants to get rid of him, I got no complaints. If Ten Hag wants to keep him, then it's on you, Ten Hag. You better get performances out of him. David De Gea, unreliable. Sancho, unreliable. Maguire and Lindelof, we know what they're about. Big changes need to happen this summer. And this game, if no other, is evidence of that because, yeah, the last 100 minutes of this tie was an absolute disgrace. The 90 minutes play and the last 10 in the first leg.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In terms of the games, just in the interest of time, tonight's game, let's go through these mistakes. I know the viewers want us to. I had a bit of feedback from the viewers recently, review more of the game. So we want to do some more of the game, and then we'll kind of. I've been seeing a lot of things here about Ten Hag, which we'll get onto. But first goal. I want to go to Dizzy first on this. I'm seeing the commentators and Paul Scholes and Top Reds say that this is on De Gea for passing him the ball. I'm seeing a lot of the online Man United fan base say it's on Maguire. He called for the ball. He kind of a weird no look, very casual pass, lost possession. Who do you put this first goal down to? Who is accountable for this mistake that really set the tone tonight?
Here's the problem. Neither of them trust each other. That's the real issue here. Whenever they play together, there is a mistake almost guaranteed to happen. I don't know what it is. They both speak English. They can communicate. They've played together for years. But for some reason, they just cannot be on this pitch at the same time. To me personally, I don't. How you don't put that on Maguire is beyond me because we've seen Martinez ask for that ball in that position, turn into an open space, and get somebody open. This is a professional footballer we're talking about, bro. This guy is not a make-a-wish kid.
Yeah, Dizzy, but their abilities are different. Dizzy, even professional footballers and abilities are different.
No.
Dizzy, let me just no.
About fucking abilities, man.
Let me just tell you something about this.
And then I'll go to Sancho.
Yeah. So they practice with each other now for years, right? He knows that Maguire is not Martinez. He knows that Maguire is not the best on the ball. He sees the pitch more than Maguire, right? He sees three players around him. De Gea should know that Maguire's ability is not going to let him turn with this ball. If this was Casemiro, if this was Eriksen, if this was someone else, yes, he knows that. He doesn't know. That doesn't get Maguire off the hook, yes, because he made the mistake. He should have cleared it. He should have had a better touch. But De Gea is the main... The guy that made the mistake here. You know your teammate. You practice with this guy every day. You know that he cannot turn. And it's not everybody that is asking for the ball, I will give him the ball. If you know that a guy is short, I'm not going to cross a looping ball to a guy that I know he's short. You know your teammate. He should not have passed him the ball. That's the first mistake, Dizzy.
And that's fine, but it could be both their fault.
The first mistake is the guy that has the ball at his feet and facing the whole pitch. He knows that Maguire cannot play.
But did Maguire not play it back to him and then he played it back to Maguire, or am I mistaken in that? Because here's my thing, bro. Two things can be true at the same time. David De Gea had maybe his worst game in a United shirt. He was at fault or partially at fault for all the goals that went in today. But then at the same time, you have the guy in front of him who is equally culpable for at least two of the goals. So realistic, I've seen the whole back line was all the way out of shape. He's the captain, he's the leader, bro. We know he's a passenger, bro. So what are we talking about? Oh, it's not his fault because he had the ball and he should have known not to pass to him. Why do we have players on the pitch that you shouldn't be passing to?
Dizzy, now that you said that, we're in a European Cup quarterfinal, and I have to accommodate to my captain's deficiencies. Why are you in the club to begin with? If I'm in a European Cup final and I can't trust to pass you a ball, because there's a couple people around you. Mind you, none of them were right behind him. So he should have been known that he's good enough to, like, when he gets that ball, he has enough time to get a half turn and just play this ball to anyone else. And if he feels that someone's on him, because when you play ball, you know when someone's on you or not, or you're being pressed or not, you can pass it back. He played a blind pass to where he thought Bissaka would be, and he missed it. And caused the goal. I cannot accommodate to my captain's deficiencies in a quarterfinal of European Cup. Man United fans want to play in the Champions League next year, but we're sitting here making excuses to why we shouldn't have passed it to Maguire. Regardless of De Gea being right or wrong, I get it, because he does make a lot of these passes and Lisandro bails them out. But that just shows you the difference in quality between having someone like Lisandro, I've seen him with two people on him, bail himself and get himself out of jail. When this guy, Maguire, is asking for the ball, he thought he had awareness. He didn't. And all he had to do was a simple half turn. And I'm supposed to sit here at Mo and say, okay, well, we have to know, you know, he trains with them every day, so we know he's shit or whatever. That's not an excuse, Mo. That's not an excuse to, you cannot be playing for Manchester United in a European Cup quarterfinal against a team like Sevilla that has heritage in this tournament. And we're sitting here babysitting him because he couldn't make a half turn. That's just like inexcusable for me.
Yes, you can. Absolutely, 100% you can. Your squad is not all trickery players. Your squad cannot all be a world-class players. You are still building a squad. You spent 200 million in the summer. You're not going to get everyone right. So number one, your manager should know what he's asking for. Your manager today was having a bike and is trying to put 6 people on it and blaming the bike for failing. You should know your players that you have. You're missing 5 players today from your starting lineup, and you're trying to play the same brand of football. That doesn't work. I'm going to give you an example about a goalkeeper that is probably, arguably, the best in the world now. Courtois cannot play with his feet. That's why they don't pass him the ball. And we're going to get into this, and I know Terry wants to get into this. Ten Hag today is asking Maguire and David De Gea to play from the back, and they can't. Why is he not asking them to clear the board early? Because he wants to play the same brand of football.
Sunshine, go on, bro. I think you're holding this in.
Bro, I'm fucking pissed, Terry, man. It's fucking basics, man.
Thanks.
It is. If anyone doing that eating now, I'm really sorry for swearing, yeah. But the deadies day today, if you're telling me a professional footballer can't look at and fucking scan the pitch before receiving a ball, and then when you're under pressure, you panic and pass to somewhere where the man was closed down already. If he'd have scanned the pitch, he would have seen Bissaka was already in cough.
Go off, Sunshine. Go off.
Robbie fucking Savage, yeah? Fucking wallad. Absolute idiot. Foolish. First comment, he should have gone to Bissaka. What do you mean he should have gone to Bissaka? First comment. This guy, bro, how many times I have to repeat these words? He is incompetent under pressure. I've been saying this even when he was banging for England. It's the same shit over and over again. No, you talk about,
so what do you want? What do you want, Sunshine? What do you want?
Wait, I listen to you, man, yeah? You talk about you should know my man's deficiencies. So why is it then when Ralph Rangnick was playing his games, yeah? And De Gea did that mad kick out for a throw-in when Maguire was wide open, and I said because he don't trust that brother. But no one wanted to hear that, bro, and started going on De Gea for kicking out for throwing. And now it's a case of, oh, we don't trust him no more.
Yep.
But now you're having to trust him because you're playing with a manager who wants to play out the back. The man's asking for the ball. You get a clean ball, bare space. If he'd have scanned, you all have to do is let the ball roll. You do that in Sunday League, bro. Sunday fucking League. This is not a complication. I don't care whether you rate De Gea or not. That first goal was not on De Gea. So if De Gea trusts Maguire, it's an issue. If he doesn't trust him, he kicks it out long, which he doesn't really do very well anyway, and he's still got shit on his hands. So fuck Player FC. Go with the situation. Professional footballer, can't scan the pitch, captain, can't turn in the middle of a fucking pitch and go, oh, 3 men are coming. I can't receive that ball. De Gea has to go long. Because you know what? If he doesn't ask for that ball and De Gea kicks it long, then fine, cool. You lose possession. But you don't go a goal down. This is fundamentals
so we agree.
of basic on the whole
all I'm saying,
football.
One second, Sunshine, but Sunshine, this is what people would have done.
But we agree, guys.
You're right.
We agree, right?
It makes no sense.
This is what people would have done. If the hair had gone long and Sevilla won the ball like they won every ball for 90 minutes and then scored, people would have gone back to De Gea and said, why did he go long? That happened the other day, wasn't it?
2 weeks
De Gea went
ago,
long. And the opposition scored. It's like, why did he go long?
Because obviously,
you're right. And this is the point when there's agendas, people can't see the wood through the cheese. So you're right. People will see David De Gea kick the ball out and have no context behind it as to why he doesn't want to go short to certain players. If Fred, for example, or McTominay or Maguire are showing short with someone pressing, David De Gea needs to go long. But when he does go long, you're right. The players who have the fans who have a David De Gea agenda, and I say agenda not to say he can't be criticized, but when they say everything is his fault, they would then blame him. But then what I'm going to say is, for me, for that goal, Maguire is, for me, there's 3 faults in that. Maguire has to hold 2 of them, but I think David De Gea still has to hold 1. Because when all
Of
this is done,
course. Listen, Neeks, listen. Let me just clarify, yeah. Let me just clarify. I've got no issue with De Gea leaving. I agree the guy has deficiencies. But like I've said many times on this space, many times on tweets, I don't do extremism. I look at the situation for what it is, regardless of which player is in there, whether it's Ross Clark-Margaret or fucking De Gea. I don't care who makes the mistake. If the mistake is the mistake, based on what football should be, based on the practicalities of the game and situations, preference aside, if the mistake is from that player, whether you rate him or not, it's on that player. I've got no issues with De Gea leaving at some point. No issues. Never have. Never will. I agree with all deficiencies that he has. But to try and pin something on a player, because when you actually do that with a player, what you do is then tell the other player who should be getting nailed, it's okay to make mistakes. You'll get away with it. That's what you're single-handedly doing when you're extreme with the other end. So rather than just be extreme based on favoritism, call the bullshit exactly how it should be, with your preference to one side. That way there's no extreme counter to the fuckery. Because Maguire is walking around the pitch doing this to the fans. Focus on the fucking game. You're 1-0 down. Captain, doing this, bro. I told you before, the guy thinks his shit don't stink. He talks like his shit don't stink. This fan base, Robbie Savage, yeah, him and his son can get out the club, bro. Don't talk about Manchester United. Stay at Forest Green, big man. Yeah. The son can stay at Forest Green. Relax there, bro. So I tell you what, if your son plays for United, bro, watch the inaccuracies. Watch the extreme viewpoints. Every fucking pass, no context. I'm sick to death of this. Oh, bro. Listen, I'm done, you know.
It comes down to
this
it comes down to one simple thing. And most people who have played at any level, whether it's Sunday League, semi-pro, pro, Premier League, you get told by your coach or you get told by your senior players, if you ask for that ball, no matter where you are, if you ask for that ball and you get it, you better not damn well lose it.
Do something exactly, bro.
It's a simple part of football.
Take accountability.
If I know that I've got all these men around me and I'm still calling for the ball, and the player gives it to me, I have now got the responsibility to look after that ball. He's not like he got intercepted before he could even touch the ball. The man could have had 2 touches. He could have even let it roll past and then play it forward. If you call for the ball and you receive that ball, you are responsible for what happens next. And that's all it is for me.
He could have even gone back to the keeper, then he could have kicked it long.
I hear a lot of what you were saying there. For me, look, I look at it this way. I think De Gea, I don't really look, he's partly to blame for that first goal. He could have gone long. Correct. I think Neeks is right. People with agendas would then look for, but if this happened and the other one happened, whatever else. The second goal, we're going to come on to in a minute. I want to do some of these super chats first. First one says David De Gea should have had the awareness and booted it, is what David T says. Sorry for United being kicked out. What do you think of Roma and Jose? I'm not even aware. I'm not even aware of the result because I was watching my team, but I've heard they've won 4-0 or 4-1 or something like that.
Good for them.
Fair play to them. First, we're winning the quad. Then he said Arsenal will finish below us. Then Sevilla are beneath us. Neeks is shameless. Mini Chester, urinated. Bottlers. Is what
big up. Let's have a discussion. I love the way that you create quotes for me every week. You need to create a little.
You should do it with a picture and everything. Harry should have let the ball run on instead of controlling it first. Is what Tony
Watch your mouth. He has nothing to prove. Watch your mouth.
Oh yeah. Remind him.
2 players from Juve and the special one are happy right now.
I think he's talking about Di Maria and another ex-United player. I don't know if there's
I don't know with Man United. I don't.
Yeah, maybe they are. Maguire doesn't even know where's a player next to AWB. There is nothing wrong with De Gea's pass at all. Yeah, I mean,
We all agree on this. Like the pass itself was good weight, everything. It's Maguire.
it's whether
We
or
all
not
agree
you
he's
can
terrible.
do it. Yeah. United have played Sevilla 5 times and never won. Yeah, that also becomes a part when you start to lose. It gets into your head, and that's the problem with those kind of stats. Sunshine has been eclipsed. Lol, is what's been said there. Some of this team are an embarrassment to the club. I agree with you, and we are going to talk Jadon Sancho later because I think a conversation about him needs to seriously be had. And I know that like Baller FC and some of Mandem FC are going to have a problem, especially Southeast Londoners. I'm sorry, Southeast London ain't as good as East London, but we're gonna come for you all tonight. We're coming for you tonight. It's as simple as that. I don't care if the first goal is De Gea's fault or Maguire's fault. Okay, you can see, but how you lose by 3 to a team who is battling relegation, bottlers. And that's essentially alludes to my next question. I want to go to Mo on this, who's a neutral. Why do you think Man United couldn't get back into the game? What do you think? Because generally this year, barring I think the Arsenal 3-2 defeat, where we were outclassed, but it was a narrow win for Arsenal. When we lose bad. Why, in your opinion?
There's no leader on the pitch. There is nobody that I can actually pick the team up. I didn't see anybody on the pitch that looked at everybody and said, pick them up. And it was just very obvious because it was very strange that even at 2-0 down, you were not the team on the front foot. They were still attacking. They were trying to play the same football. And I was like, I'm looking at Man United. I'm looking, okay, so who's going to talk to the rest of the players? Who's going to pick them up and tell them, let's go, let's do something? There was nobody. The body language of some of the players is embarrassing. I'm just going to single out a couple of players, which is Jadon Sancho and, to be honest, Martial. His body language when he doesn't have the ball, it pisses me off, and I'm not a Man United fan. I know his abilities.
Who?
Martial, to be honest. Like his body language, his work ethics off the ball.
Be careful, you'll get cancelled tonight by saying that. I'll say you're being
I'm
late.
serious. You know, I've been saying this 2 years, and every Man United fan is like, no, but his ability. I'm not doubting his ability.
Just very quickly, when I say they, I mean Marseille FC. In case anyone tries clipping it up.
His work ethics are terrible. It's unbelievable. His work ethics are terrible. Someone like Maguire should not be a Man United player, and we said that 3-4 years ago. He shouldn't be the captain, and it's a mistake to make him a captain. I think I'm not sure who to blame on this, but there was nobody to pick the team up. Even Bruno, that I criticize a lot about, like him whining on the pitch, he would have yelled at some of these guys and picked them up. He would have yelled at everybody and told them that this is an embarrassment. You need to play better. We need to be better. But there was nobody to do this on the pitch. Everybody was casual. Everybody was taking the defeat as it's a given. It's okay to be 2-0 down at Sevilla because we're at Spain and because someone else made the mistake. That's what I felt. I feel like some of these players said, because it's not me who made the mistake and it's an individual mistake, it's okay to be 2-0 down. Yeah, we're going to try, but we're not going to try the best. And that's why you lost today. And that's why until the last minute, you were not the best team, even at 2-0 down.
There is this lingering stench that is still here. And Ten Hag, he's got time to try and change that. But every now and then, that stench comes back. This team will go through periods where they are super confident and can beat anybody. We saw that with Barcelona. We saw that against Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. But then every now and then, it creeps back. This mentality of, well, I'm not the one who's going to make the mistake. As long as I'm doing the simple thing, I'm cool. As long as I'm not the one to look bad, it's okay. The individualism starts to kick in. And then the team ethic just goes. And you got players like Martinez, like Varane, like Casemiro, like Bruno, who do try for the team. But when all of them are not unsung, the stench is still there. And it's going to take time for us to get out. But it just frustrates me that it just lingers and lingers and lingers. And it doesn't matter how long it's been, whether it's been 10 years or 6 months, it sticks around. And it just means that there needs to be a refresh in a load of these players. A lot of these players are confidence players. When everything's going good, we're good. But when things go bad, it goes terribly bad. And that needs to stop.
Yeah. KJ, some of these players, even when things are good, they're bad. Like,
Brendan is not putting no blame on Ten Hag for this result overall.
So I would put blame on him in
for the tie.
In
overall for the whole tie.
For time, yeah,
first
definitely.
leg, those substitutions were ridiculous and they really cost Man United. There's no doubt. At the same time, though, tonight I think he probably picked the team that most of us would have picked. But some people are saying they would have picked Shaw to start or Rashford. So I don't think. I think
Injury.
yeah, I think most Man United fans picked this team. But the stench is there. But the stench is bang on that you said. There's players in the team tonight, and I put David De Gea as one of them in the long term because I don't think he'll be. Everyone's focusing on this new deal. Means the manager wants him. That's because there's a lot of people out there, and there's loads of comments. Twist is doing it here. Why give Ten Hag more time? Ten Hag Teta out. Get rid of him. There's a lot of these comments coming through from rival fans. But you've got to remember, for me, David De Gea, Delo, AWB, Maguire, Lindelof as an example, Weghorst who came on, Martial that started, Sancho. There's like 8 players there that in 2 years' time are not going to be here. So that stench is there because year one, we were never going to move all these people on. I will criticize the manager, but what I see from rivals is, I know you're criticizing the manager, but I see you making excuses for him. Like the Liverpool fan who super chatted earlier. Well, Terry, you had a go at Liverpool because with 2 or 3 injuries to centre backs, you said they should be doing better. I'm like, yeah, you're 7 years you're 7 years into your manager's reign. I expect his squad to be able to cope with injuries. My manager's just over, was he 9 months in, 10 months in? So as much as I'm going to criticize him, there are some bigger issues here. Sancho isn't, in my opinion. Martial isn't. Maguire isn't. Lindelof isn't. They're not Ten Hag issues. They're issues that he is going to resolve. But he was never moving all of these problems out the club year one. It's why this year we have overachieved. And every time we lose, rivals go, see, told you a crap. Then when we say we're overachieving, they say, but you've really got a great squad. So what are we? Crap? Are we crap or are we good and underachieving? Which of the two things is it? You've got to pick a camp. You can't be in both. You can't be in both for me.
You see, for me, where the issue is with today and the first tie, my concern is that Martinez and Varane injury could have spelled the end of our season, essentially. Because if you look at it now, like Terry said, the first game that was on Ten Hag. The subs were wrong. Lord knows what he was doing. But this game, the players played out of necessity because of the injuries and the suspensions. Moving forward, the players that played terribly today are the players that we're going to have to rely on for the rest of the season.
Yep.
Because our starters are gone, essentially. You saw Rashford. Rashford didn't look like himself when he came on. Shaw didn't look like himself when he came on. That's what I'm saying. What's it called? Varane, even if he comes back, he's probably not going to look like himself. So I worry about our season in the short term. In the long term, I have no worries that Ten Hag sees what the issues are.
And bro, this is one of my commenters here. This comment's bang on for me. You guys need to chill in terms of the Ten Hag conversation. You guys are way ahead of your progress period. It took us 3 flipping years to get at least like a little decent. Plus, you won a bloody trophy this year. And again, I think Man United fans have every right to be angry at certain things tonight. But when we start moving on to the Ten Hag conversation, this is what I would say to Man United fans. Rivals, again, will push back. And they're expected to. But they want us to turn on Ten Hag because they see quality. What I'm not seeing is what I saw under Ollie of Ollie in. Keep Ollie. Give Ollie a 10-year deal. We love Ollie. What I'm seeing is, right, let's try and see if we can make Man United fans start a crazy agenda against the manager. And the only Man United fans who are going to start on the manager in terms of overall attacking him are going to be the likes of Martial FC and Sancho FC that know their star boys are on their way out. And I'm going to go to some super chats in a minute, but I wanted to ask you, Staffy, about Sancho tonight, because for me, personally, I know I went in a little bit on the weirdos online that overly defend players like him. For me, the guy's a yellow belly. He's a coward. He pulled out of a proper tackle on the edge of the box. And it was almost, that for me kind of it's not all that he is. He's got some great skill. He can score goals. He can create at times. But when you see a man pull out of a tackle like that, are you ever going to win a league title or a Champions League with a cream puff that won't go into tackles?
Well, I didn't want you to come to me with that question because I've stated before how much I like Sancho, and it hurts me to say this.
That's why I came to you.
I know you did. You're a sneaky bastard. But okay, I'll be very honest. I was never player FC with anyone. At the end of the day, I'm a Manchester United fan. I'll always support the club. I'll if any player has to leave at any point, I'll always admit it. If any player is not being good enough, even if he's one of my favorite players, I'll always admit it. Sancho, technically, I'll always back him. I don't like people when they say he's shit, this and that. No, he's not shit. But I have been questioning lately, as a lot of people have been, it's like more of his mentality. Can you play for a club as big as Manchester United? Because we have stated before that most of these games that we play, if not all of them, we are everyone's rival. We're not Sevilla's rival, but you're going into a game like this. Sevilla has the best pedigree, arguably, in the Europa League. I think they won it the most out of everyone else, like 7 of them. They know this is their competition. They know they're playing at home. They know we're not their rivals, but we are the biggest club left in the tournament. So to them, this is a cup final. Okay. So when you play for a club as big as Manchester United, you have these games every other week, if not every week. Okay. So you need to be on your A game 99% of the time. You can't afford so many games where we're going to create excuses for you. And today he was off. Today was this. Today was that. Sancho's just having too many of these games. And as much as I love him for the player that he is, and as much as I think he's a good player, I'm starting to really doubt if he could play for a club that big. When you play for Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, these big clubs that always are expected to win, and your expectation is to always put at least an 8 out of 10 every game, you can't be putting too many stinkers like that. You can't be going to Sevilla and Bruno's out, and we're trying to find a catalyst, someone who's going to ignite this team and who's going to step up. And I can honestly sit here and say that I never look at Sancho and I'm like, yeah, he's the guy that I think who's going to step up today. He's the one that's going to take the reins, and he's going to lead this game, and he's going to see us out. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. I never see him doing that, and it's just like it's hard to defend him at this point, because when it comes to these stages where you're in a quarterfinal or semifinal and you have too many injuries and you're looking for someone to step up, he's never one of them, and it's very hard to defend him at this point.
Can I just say quick? I need to head off, Terry. And Sunshine mentioned Robbie Savage in the commentary, and he was the highlight of the bigger issue I'm gonna state, is that when you have the media agendas when it comes to English players, and the fact that he was trying to defend Maguire from the moment the goal went in, and then as time went on, it's like, okay, maybe Maguire was a little bit at fault. However, he kept bringing it back to David De Gea. The amount
sorry, Neeks, he only said that right at the end. Like,
yeah, right, I'm saying as it went on, right, and then he kind of okay,
flipped a little maybe in there.
There was maybe a bit of Maguire, but the amount of stick that Anthony has got this season, and Sancho's been there for nearly 2 years, and Anthony's done more in 6 months, 7 months, whatever it is, than Sancho's done since he's been here. And Sancho doesn't get the stick from the media that Anthony's getting. Now, I'm not saying Sancho should be getting the stick. I'm not saying that he shouldn't, by the way. But considering what Anthony has been getting, and he was, in many of these games, he's our biggest threat. He's the one who you think something can happen, even if he's a bit inconsistent. As I said earlier in my opening comment, I give players 2 years. In the second year, if you're not producing, I can't back you anymore. Anything that anyone says in criticism to Sancho, I have to just hold it. And he has to hold it until he turns it around. And whether he turns that around at Manchester United or elsewhere, that remains to be seen. But he has a lot of work and a long way to go if he thinks he's going to get into this Man United team on a long-term basis, because you have Rashford, who is going absolutely nowhere, and you've got Garnacho, who's out injured at the moment, but he's done more again this season than Sancho's done in nearly 2 years at Man United. That is unacceptable for a player of his ability and a player of his hype, rightly deserved hype because he had produced elsewhere, but the hype that he's come with. It's a long, long way back to him. But all I'll say before I go is that, listen, the season's not done. It feels very, very bad. And it may well be done very, very soon. We might listen, yeah. I got no confidence we're going to beat Brighton. I got no confidence. But we're still in the competition. We still have to go out and hopefully get a performance and a result. But it's not looking good, bruv.
I hear you on that, Neeks.
I'm
Appreciate
out
you,
of it, man.
appreciate you coming on, mate. Sharing your face. And by the way,
Yeah, love
there's
Neeks.
like spaces right now being run by Liverpool, Arsenal, and City fans with like Ten Hag out and all of this. And again, by the way, full disclosure, I've done streams about other clubs' managers where I have that word there, but I only ever use it in my titles when it's trending from their fan base. Does that make sense? So if Chelsea fans are saying manager out, I'll talk about manager out, as opposed to, Klopp this year. It's Liverpool fans who have brought that up, not me. But I'm backing my manager still. In terms of the medium to long term, short term, I'll criticize him, but I ain't turning my back. On Sancho, I tweeted this, and I'll reiterate on the stream. Sancho has got to be sold. He's not good enough. And when I say not good enough, I'm not talking about his ability or technical quality. Based on his technical ability, the level of impact from him is shameful. And I used to have this argument. He's a coward on the pitch as well. We saw it tonight. He's a coward. He's an absolute coward. I don't want a player to be prepared. No, I do. I want a player to be prepared for the leg to break in a tackle. And what I mean by that is Bruno Fernandes goes into a tackle and he goes in, and if he gets crunched, he gets crunched. I don't want a player to get hurt, but I don't want him going, oh, no, I might get hurt. I'm pulling out, because you're going to lose a lot of games because of that person.
Do you see how Lamela plays every game against us, especially? He is not afraid to hurt any of our players. And this is why I hate him.
If Jadon Sancho had the heart of, with his talent, had the heart of Lamela, the work rate of Lamela, he'd be a world beater. But he doesn't. He doesn't quite have enough to go, oh, I'm going to push myself to that next level. And on top of that, I've always been this person. I will always judge someone with talent, intelligence, or ability above someone with less. And I know, like, Sanson, you're a teacher. You teach and coach. If someone's got, teachers do this all the time. If you've got a kid that's bright and smart and got ability, and he's throwing it all away, and there might be another kid in the class that's also naughty, but this kid's, sorry to say it in these terms, but he's a little dumb, not very bright, really hard to get through to. The smarter kid always gets in more trouble. And the teacher will always say, because I see so much more in you. I'm far more angry at Sancho dropping bad performances than I ever will be McTominay, or I ever will be Elanga, because he possesses more ability in his little finger than they have in their whole bodies. I just wish he had their heart. I just wish he had their work rate, because then he'd be a player for us, and he just isn't. And it's so frustrating, because I agree with you, Staffy. There's so much ability there. He's just a cream puff, and we've just got to admit that as Man United fans. This is, sorry, bro, I want to do some of these super chats. So this here says, Mo, if Maguire is going to be asked for the ball in that position, then he should know what's around him. It has nothing to do with his ability. It's 100% on Maguire. That's
no,
you.
he doesn't see the whole pitch. It's the goalkeeper in the back. Like, if you're a midfielder and you're facing
How about
goal,
If you're a
midfielder, you played football, you know that. If you're a midfielder, you not 100%, not every midfielder, it's a talent to know everything around you. Some midfielders ask for the ball, but the defenders refuse to give them the ball. And
Okay,
I'm
Mo,
not.
can I ask you one question?
Can I just Sunshine? Let me clarify.
Sanchez losing it. Sanchez losing it.
Let me clarify something before, because I know what you're going to say.
My
Let me clarify.
I am
not blaming.
Compose.
I'm not blaming. I'm not blaming De Gea without blaming Maguire. I'm just saying Maguire is not good enough. He shouldn't be playing for Man United. That we know that, but circumstances put him there. His teammates should know. For me, Sunshine, you are trying, Naji, to tell me that I'm blaming De Gea. I'm not blaming De Gea completely about it. I'm just telling you, if I'm 10 players on, let me just tell you, give me an example.
Finish.
If my goalkeeper gets injured, and I put a player in there, and I keep allowing, and I put a player in there because I don't have any subs left, and I keep allowing crosses on him, and then I blame him because he doesn't command the area. It's my fault. Maguire should not be the center back or the captain for Man United. Period. Done.
Okay, question. Right, question to you. I don't care. I don't actually care whether whose fault it is. Right. I'm gonna be nice and easy. Should you, as a centre back, before receiving the ball, given the fact you've just laid it off, the moment you've laid it off, should you not scan before asking for the ball? 100%. That's first question leading to a second one.
100%.
Okay, so when he's laid off the ball, he's not scanned enough before asking for that ball. In his peripheral vision, based on where I am with Maguire, he can probably know that Bissaka is in and around the area. But he can't see further around to know that the guy closing down Bissaka is closer than anyone else closer to him. So under pressure, he's then asked for the ball. And then on his instinct, because he's flopped and he's incompetent under pressure, the guy's going to try to pass to Maguire. If you scan the pitch, if you'd have scanned that pitch, you could have salvaged that situation in two ways. Well, let's take his ability into consideration, right? This is just my opinion, so I'm not saying people have to agree. This is how I passionately
this one
feel,
up,
yeah?
We go around in circles, bruv. Like, speed it.
So
yeah, we'll
all
go
I'm
around in
saying is,
circles.
if Maguire receives that ball, let's put his ability involved with this. We know he probably isn't going to have the maturity and the quality to drop his shoulder and let the ball roll like Varane or Martinez probably would have done and have shown many times this season. However, he could have taken his first touch to kill the weight of the ball so it doesn't bounce away from him. And he could have laid it off to De Gea so that he's got an opportunity to kick it long because of his ability. He could have had a safe option. The man did neither. So to my question, and the fact that you said yes to this is my only issue. Just because he hasn't got the ability on the ball, like you said, you've laid off the ball, you should be scanning. When you've got your back towards the way you're playing, I don't know how many of you are coach or whatever, but I think this is football knowledge, whether you coach or not, at any level, even if you're playing cage football, the moment you lay off the ball and your back is towards the way you're going, you have a scan. Either a lengthy scan if you've got the time, or you move or literally something. So you've got an option. He did neither, Mo. And this is my issue. I don't care whether De Gea's pass was perfect or not. I don't care whether Maguire is fully at fault. Before he made that decision, before he asked for the ball, he didn't do the basics. And because when he's under pressure, he's incompetent to do his job. That's all that matters in this situation for me personally. So I don't really care.
I hear you guys. What I've got to say there. Joshua Loveless says United fans haven't helped themselves with this as De Gea is a liability with his feet, but each week when he balls out with multiple saves, you guys back him to stay and it comes up. But this is the thing, Joshua. This is about balance. This is what I've stated. I don't want to bet a goalkeeper with his feet who's exponentially worse with his hands at saving the ball. So this is why the new deal is a time for Man United fans. I don't know what content creators you watch or who you listen to, but come talk to me. Balance, right? And I mean this as a bit of a joke in the sense of you've got to keep De Gea here until we can find a goalie that we know is as good as him with his hands. You don't want a Claudio Bravo situation. De Gea leaves, a Claudio Bravo.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna point out. Like, can I say something?
Exactly. So you keep him with his feet. You keep him here on less money. You bring somebody else in that becomes a number one. Then you move David De Gea on. For me, that is a sensible way to do it. This notion of you either give him a new deal and that means he's the main guy for another 5 years, or you just fuck him off in the summer. You've got to get the balance of it right, because buying new goalkeepers, like, most clubs struggle. Most clubs struggle. It's not a thing that you go, look at Chelsea haven't had a goalie as good as Petr Cech for a decade now. Look how long it took Arsenal to replace Jens Lehmann. Legitimately, I'm not even capping here. Replacing goalkeepers can sometimes take years, and you need to be mindful with it. What Man United would have given to have had Peter Schmeichel from 99 until 2005 when Van der Sar came in. It took us nearly 6 years to replace Peter Schmeichel with an adequate goalkeeper. We just got to be careful in doing that. Vindaloo here says, I saw this come in United. I've had some problems as Arsenal. They know their squad depth with a few players are taken out from injuries. They're different. They're a different team. That said, billions are spent. Questions need to be asked. But Vindaloo, I've got a thing here, right? Man United have spent that. I think it's really disingenuous. Why are Man United the only team that we're labeling total spend over a decade on, and nobody else? Because, like, we don't turn around and go, Liverpool, 2.1 billion spent, one Premier League. That's what they spent. Like, how far back do we take it? So our manager has spent £200 million on his squad, and he's got us into third place so far, and he's won us a trophy. And I don't mean this with any disrespect. Do you, Vindaloo, account the last 2 years, 3 years of Wenger spending and Emery spending, and do you put that all? Do you turn around and go 800 million pound, 900 million pound that Arteta has had, or do you say, oh, 350 million pound my manager's had? That's the only part of that I'm going to push back on and defend my manager with. Why is Erik ten Hag the only manager that we're taking spend from others on and giving it to him? We didn't do it to Klopp. We don't do it to Pep. We don't do it to Arteta. So why should Erik ten Hag get that?
And you know what's mad as well? The last part says, that said, billion spent, questions needs to be asked. When we answer those questions with, well, look at the ownership and how they've spent the money and we get hit back with, no, you can't say that though. So you guys don't actually want the answers of these questions that we need to be asking. You guys just want us to be.
They don't want to hear it, bro.
Self-pity. They want to hear the truth. We all know the reasons why that billion spent has equaled 2 Carabao Cups, 1 Europa League, and an FA Cup in 10 years. We all know why. But you guys don't want that conversation.
That billion was spent on Bissaka and Maguire. So you're talking about a little bit over 10% of that money in that past decade that was going to these 2 people, bro. Like, it's just like they want to spend that billion wisely, and we just can't win. We have the best players in the world just because we overspent on them. As we all know, we all here as Man United fans admit, over players. We know why we overspent and
110%, right? So if we look at Arsenal as an example, since that billion of Man United have been spent, they've spent 950 million. Xhaka was one of their first big buys in that. No one goes, yeah, but Arteta should be doing this. £1 billion spent. Yeah, because he hasn't spent £1 billion. So I'm just not going to allow that on my channel to be a narrative that goes on. You can say what you want, no echo chambers, but I'm going to push back against it. Vindaloo, thanks for the super chat. The problem will only stop when every bar, maybe Bruno, Rashford, single player pre-Ten Hag is gone. They be infected, and we don't clear them out quickly. They will infect the new signings. So I don't think they will.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that is that we've been trying to do that for years. Like the number 4 shirt for Manchester United is still occupied by Phil Jones. That should say everything. That should say everything about the players at our club and just shipping them off. Like we have 2 players from Sir Alex Ferguson era, De Gea and Phil Jones. We have players from the Louis van Gaal era. We have players from the Oli era. Like we even have players that we have players from every single era on all of our managers, and it's just a matter of just shipping them off.
Lincoln, you're speaking facts, and this is again, KJ's already said it. When we call out our owners, everyone goes, "You can't blame them; they spent the money," and then they say, "You got to clear out your dead wood." The reason the dead wood has never gone is no manager yet has ever been able to get, rightly or wrongly, to the end of their process and completely clear out the previous manager's stock and bring his own in. And I do think our manager will stick with a number of these players, the same as Arteta has still got players that he inherited, like Xhaka's the main one. Obviously, he's got academy players that came through as well, but it's going to take time, and that's why Man United fans do not succumb to the pressure of rivals. Joe says, Sancho and 80 million for Bellingham. Dortmund seemed to be his level, unfortunately. Such a shame. I was excited about Rashford, Martial, Sancho up front. I mean, I was never that excited about the Martial part, and there's no dig. The man's a rich tea biscuit. His body is done now. He's 27. Look, he rolled his ankle tonight, and I saw it looked painful. But he gets injured like I do, and I'm a 37-year-old dad who is out of shape, who has spent the last 6 months in and out of hospital having panic attacks, thinking they're heart attacks because I'm old and I've got problems. This man's a 27-year-old man. When I was an athlete, do you think I wasn't even getting colds, bro? Like, I was fit and healthy. Like, this guy's done. I love Martial, but he's done. I don't even listen. Sancho, he won't go back to Dortmund. He wanted out of that place. He wants to be back in the UK. Sancho is going to be playing at a club like Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I'm so sad.
This guy will be on The Masked Singer in 4 years' time.
You know what? He'll probably go down the route of Memphis Depay a little bit. Oh, sorry, DZ. Go on,
you know what it is. You know what it is. Until United are back at the all-time United great level, bro, who cares who goes? I really could care less which one you like, which one you like, which one you like the look, don't like the look of on the ball, bro. None of these men are United prime levels. So why do we care about who stays and who doesn't? At this point, bro, I'm back to where I was last season, where it's like, if we trusting Ten Hag, fam, do you trust him or are you saying you trust him? Because if you say you trust him, you have to back whoever he decides to get rid of.
Do you know what's interesting, right? I want to read this out. I got a comment here on Twitter. Somebody said to me, it's fair challenge. He says, we gave Shaw a gazillion years when he was good for 2 seasons, but pushed Sancho like out after a couple. Why? And that was followed up by somebody else's tweet, right? Who just said, but this guy's on 350 grand a week. Now, that's the issue because he's one of the highest paid players at the club. The standard's higher than a young man who was on 40 grand a week, 50 grand a week when he came in. When he comes in, if you're a new signing at the club and you come in on 200 grand a week and you see Sancho earning nearly double you, performing like that, that creates problems in dressing rooms. But sorry, KJ, you're going to say something.
Now, I got a question for you, Terry. But you got super chat to do first, so I'll wait.
Go on. You ask a question first, bro. Go on.
So yeah, when I said the season's done, I saw your face do a little twitch because I think you're surprised. Where do you think the season lies? At least for everyone, really. Where do you think the season lies now? Even with the possibility of still beating Brighton, where do you think the season is?
I'm FA Cup top 4.
Yeah, I'm a couple of vodkas in on Jackson's birthday, Archie's, but that's how you know you're an old man with loads of kids. You get your kids' names wrong. We're beating Brighton and we're beating City to win the FA. No, I'm joking. Right? A little laughter to the proceedings. For me, like I get why you would say that, but that can't be the attitude because the season ain't done. We have got an FA Cup final this week, and Brighton, in many people's eyes, may be the favourites. But at the same time, again, if I'm in that dressing room today, I mean, first of all, I'm grabbing a couple of these men by their balls, literally. I'm doing what one of my coaches
by the
did
neck,
to me.
bro, like Casemiro.
No.
He said balls.
The balls. Like,
Can't touch a mental stick on
that. Not in like an attraction kind of way, just in a sort of, I'm going to show you who's boss. I'll clip your boy. But the point I'm making is I'd be in their face and saying, look, this Brighton team, as great as they are, let's respect them, let's work hard. They're playing on a big pitch, the pressure of a semi-final. Man United should be going into this game feeling superior in that sense. Like that's where we've got an advantage. Brighton don't go there very often. However, Brighton are playing some amazing football. We've got our 2 main centre-backs out, and confidence is going to be low today. But I don't like this. I can't do this whole, it's okay, guys, the season's over, let's collapse. Equally, we need Champions League football next year. We need it as a club. If we don't have the Glazers, not so much. We've already a little bit hamstrung financially without them. These players need to turn up. I still think we'll make top 4, by the way. As bad as tonight was, I still think we can make the top 4. But there has to be a reaction on Sunday. And look, we may go out. And in some respects, that may help us. Having 1 game a week until the end of the season may help this squad slightly. Because, and what I mean by that is I like 2 games a week. I think it's good for us. But not Maguire's and Lindelof's. I think for them, high pressure twice a week kills them. Like once a week, they'll elite level players love 2 games a week.
You're missing a point.
Sorry, go on. What's the point? I didn't hear it. Go on.
You're missing a point. Last week when we spoke of the season is over, and I told you I don't think we'll beat Sevilla. I want us to beat them, but I didn't think we would beat them. But next week, when we go to the semifinal, not this week, in the next 3 days, when we go to the semifinal against Brighton, we don't have Maguire playing, and we have Bruno back. You're missing the point that there's no Maguire. He's suspended. The minute I know Maguire is not playing, that changes everything for me. We're going to a semifinal. We just won that League Cup, so we're on a high of the last time we were there at Wembley. Brighton is not used to going to Wembley. They're a good team, and I respect them a lot. I love the way they play football. But we have the heritage over them in this game, and we don't have Maguire, and we actually got Bruno back. That changes everything for me. I am way more confident going into that Brighton game than I was today.
I hear that. And to clarify my position, when I say the season's done, I don't believe we will drop out of the top 4. It's not a complete collapse thing. It's not like, okay, that's it. We can Europa League again next year. I don't want anything. In terms of, we were lined up to do a cup treble or to win 3 trophies. as the season's progressed, we've won one of them, and now it was just on these two. And we had these big pressure moments in a week where you have Sevilla semi-final you need to win, and Brighton semi-final you need to win, both in 1 week. And to me, it's like, I believe we're getting top 4. So this is the season for us. So no one can chat to us about, you only won the Carabao Cup, or look at the teams that you played. No, I want no one to be able to chat to us. We can sit there with our chest up saying, look, finish 3rd or 4th, either one, but look, Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, you can't chat to me. To me, that's gone. And for me,
no, I hear that.
It's a normal season now. You know, it's like a normal season.
I do hear that. I do hear. And by the way, Staffy, I get where you're coming from. And I'm not looking forward to the game, but that's because I'm worried about losing it. And that's because I respect Brighton. But I know what's coming if we don't win that game. This is modern day football. We're already being written off. Well, you're gonna lose. But if we lose, we'll still get called bottlers because that's the way modern day banter is done. But for me, a season isn't over. We can still get to this FA Cup final, and we can still make the top 4. And we knew at the start that we're still overachieving based on what everybody else said. I'm more about, I don't even know if we'll learn this season from today. I don't think we'll learn too much this season from today and improve. It's about making sure that the players that let us down tonight, the majority of them, listen, Casemiro and Eriksen, as much as I'll criticize them, they're allowed a bad day. As much as it pains us and you'll criticize, they're allowed a bad day. I've seen Scholes and Neville and Beckham and Cole and York drop bad performances in cup games or one-off Premier League games and us lose matches. I've seen them all do it in our best teams. And I criticized them at the time as a kid when I was younger. I criticized the Rooneys and Ronaldos for the same thing when I was an adult. And I'll do the same thing now. The difference is with my anger tonight towards Maguire's, De Gea's, Sancho's, Martial's, and all for different reasons, is their heads are the ones we've got to roll. They're the ones that have got to move on. And someone, Neeks pulled on it perfectly earlier with Anthony. I see Bruno get more shit from Man United fans than Sancho. And it makes 0 sense to me because that man has delivered. If Sancho was delivering like Bruno Fernandes, we'd be talking about one of the best wingers in the world. We would. We absolutely would because he passes the eye test. And that's where I want to. That's for me what I'm more focused on tonight is a hope. But I have so much faith in Ten Hag that he's seen, not what I've seen from an arrogant sense. He'll know the problems and he'll be moving a lot of those guys on in the summer. Sean here says, I think you have overachieved this season, even with new owners. It's going to take 4 transfer windows to get you challenging again. You have at least 10 players that need to go. Do you know what, Casey? I just don't think it does. I think, honestly, 7 or 8 of these players will go in the summer. There'll be quite a few. Some are going to go on free transfers. Some will go with new owners. They'll sacrifice the wages of some. Even someone said Sancho won't go. With new owners and no debt, Man United said, right, we'll pay $100,000 a week until the contract's up. We just want you out of here. We've seen Liverpool went from being 4th place and no marks to a point on like 97 points a year later. Arsenal went from bottle job nobodies to top of the league by 4 points a year later. Man United can do that same jump with this manager. We just need, listen, you bring in Osherman, you bring in De Jong, you bring in Caicedo, you bring in Frimpong. A lot of people tell me he's good. I'm just going to use his name as an example. You bring in another top center. Who's the South Korean centre back we're linked to?
Kim Min-jae.
You bring that dude. You bring that dude in.
Kim.
Yeah, be very careful, KJ. We'll just the world.
No, I'm referencing a meme.
Okay, I didn't know that.
During the World Cup.
I didn't know that. But that was my ignorance as well.
Right. Terry, I wanted to ask you, without new owners, do you think you have the same pull as with new owners?
Man United will always have pull. We won't have the money without new owners. We won't have as much money without them. We've always got the pull. We're Manchester United Football Club. And like people said we wouldn't sign Casemiro. When we would have got linked to Casemiro in the summer, no way. And we did. We can get him. But we can challenge next year. You bring in 5 players like that to this squad, we're a different Man United team. You take out more of the dead wood, more of the problems, we go another level. My brother here, Bash, long time no see, says we need to realize that the main reason, I love it, the main reason, you should say Man United, but he is an Inter fan, lost today is because of squad depth. Ten Hag had to buy to fill the first team, but not the subs needed. This is true because even Weghorst shouldn't be here. Like Weghorst shouldn't be here. That's
you won't forget we got Weghorst Terry against Brighton. Like, yeah, you can talk about Bruno's coming back, and you got Weghorst up front. What you on about?
But do you know what's mad, right? I know we're
Oh
better.
God, he's gonna start, ain't he?
I know we're better when Martial's fit and firing, but I don't know what it is, and maybe it's the gammon in me, right? Maybe it's my inner gammon coming out. But when Weghorst came on today and he ran and he pushed, there's a part of me that's like, but at least he did that. When I see players that are better than him not work hard, there's something about that winds me up. Do you know what it is? This is what it really is. It winds me up more when players with more talent in their little fingertip don't work as hard as him. I think that's what it endears me to him. It's like, you're so shit, bruv, but at least you try. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones. And yeah, I am worried about that. Joe, thank you for becoming a member of the Football Terrace. I really appreciate that. By the way, I'm getting a lot of shit online for saying that Sancho. This is it. You say a player like Sancho is a coward on the pitch, everyone gets angry. Why?
Like, he is.
It's yeah, but you know, I told you what it is before. It's like a lot of people, you know, listen, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm not even
why you booing me? I'm right.
Yeah, why F me? Why, oh, look, he's here. Here he is. I'm all shook up. How you doing, Egal? How you doing, bro? You shaking up.
Why is there so much background noise? What the hell? Sorry, my apologies.
No, I was singing Elvis.
No, that joke is dead, Terry.
There it is.
I'm doing a gal smile.
You can't say that joke is dead. You can't tell us all what's funny or not.
No, but that's what you do for a living, so I can do it too.
Hey, what's going on? What's the guy doing there?
Listen,
he won't know who's coming.
What are you here to say, Gal?
I'm just here to say David De Gea once again, and you guys all witnessed everything that I've been talking about for over a year and a half now. David De Gea, disaster class as it is. And I know, and you all know, that Erik ten Hag is slowly trying to shift him out. And eventually, when he does get shifted out, you guys are going to fully see everything that we've been talking about for a long time. As a team, I don't really think you can sit back and look at that game going into it and say, you know what, you're not shocked. Because as we said, I think on Monday, if you go into this game without Bruno, Rashford's on the bench, of course. You already have two of your best defenders out. Your squad's paper thin. You're going to go back to what you were a couple of years ago and that last year. And that's what happened. This game was a performance that you'd witness last year on a regular basis, where you have defensive errors, goalkeeping errors because of other players not being comfortable on the ball. And your squad has shown that it's not as deep as everyone says it is. And you guys say it yourselves. So nothing new here. This was an expected performance, in my opinion.
Question for you, Egal. Who has said the squad's really deep and good? Who says that?
No. I'm not saying the squad's deep and good, Terry. I'm making a point, and you're agreeing with me.
No.
What are you challenging? I'm confused.
Yeah, because you think I'm challenging you. I didn't challenge you, Egal. You said the squad is not as deep as some people say it is. My question was, who has said the squad is deep?
Who are these people?
Who are these people? One challenged you,
maybe
Egal.
Maybe I should rephrase what I'm saying. Okay? Maybe I should rephrase it. Because once you go past your first 11, you actually get to see that your team is very similar to the team last year. And of course, with some of those key injuries, you now see what's happened to your team. It's the same. It resorts back to last year, and that's what I was talking about. I'm not talking about
we agree. When we play the team of last year, we see the performances of last year very much. But you said that some people have said our squad is deeper than it is. Who are those people?
Who are them people?
Basically, Gal, we want to know who they are so we can cook them too.
Yeah, exactly. We're not challenging you. They're wrong. Who they are.
Bro, it's the Arsenal fans that
can I translate for it? You know what? I'll translate for Egal. This is okay. I'm Egal. I told you so, but I'm going to frame this in a way that makes it sound like I'm doing something analytical and not just saying I told you so. Because I told you so. This is exactly what Egal is doing. How you guys get paid into Egal's tricks all the time? I don't get it.
I don't know, bro. We know who you are, Mr. Hancock. We know who you are.
Listen, I'm here to smile. Give you guys some smiles. Put some smiles in your faces because you seem very sad.
You're not a fan crazy.
So you're smiling because Martial's injured, eh? You're smiling because Martial's injured.
I'm in peace, ladies and gentlemen.
Genuine question, bro. No banter. No banter. But genuine question, yeah. Do you know, like when You used to talk about, United will be watching Europa League, bro. Why were you watching Europa League tonight?
Because
Your
I was
team's meant to
taking
be
my
doing good, but
class,
why are
so I
you
wanted to
watching it
watch some
tonight?
football.
Do you miss it? Do you miss it?
No, I was actually watching the Conference League because once you guys were down 2-0, I changed the channel.
Yeah, but so you watched the part of it. Why are you interested in the Europa League match? Do you miss it?
Brother, what are we talking about here? Are we not football fans?
No, it's a
This is
question.
silly
Do you
point.
miss it? Yes or no? You say yes if you want.
Do I
no.
miss it?
Do you miss
You
the Europa
probably
League?
miss it too. Now that you're out, we get it. It's okay.
No,
we're both out. We're
No,
in it together.
you're not answering the question. Why are you missing the question?
Oh wait.
No. You're acting silly, bro. You're missing the point.
Wait.
I've got a better question. Egal,
Okay.
did we fail tonight?
Did you fail tonight? You got knocked out of a competition.
So
Did we fail tonight?
Fail?
Of course.
Why did you not do yes or no?
Wrong. We did not fail. We got context. We got context.
What?
Wait,
I don't get that question. No, genuine question, nigga. Like, you don't
What are
like
you talking
Europa
about?
League, yeah? You cookers, and rightly so, by the way. Listen.
Did I come here to cook you guys, or did I come here to talk about De Gea?
Please.
You guys are defensive. Wow.
Please.
Wow.
Don't move.
Wow.
De Gea won't save it anyway.
Wait.
Listen.
I ain't defensive man just here, man.
Genuine question.
Nah, Lincoln, you're just chilling, man.
If you make a statement of you're playing Europa League from a banter perspective, I'm just trying to call out, is your banter good or not? Because you're now tuning in to watch Europa League. Why are you tuning into that if it's a dead league to watch? A dead competition to watch?
Right, Egal's banter is not good, but he's consistent with
I
his
don't think
league.
Egal's ever said
Guys, let Egal answer,
First of all,
please.
I'm not here to banter you guys. Okay, Sevilla already did that. I'm just here to state the facts.
Nice.
I'm just here to state the facts.
There it is.
You guys lost 3-0. You guys lost 5-2 on aggregate. You thought after you beat Barcelona, who were top of the league in Sevilla, you're gonna have an easy tie. Things turned on you. You're not knocked out.
Did anyone say that?
You thought we were gonna have an easy tie in Spain. We barely even won there.
Go look at Mark Goldbridge's tweet. Go look at Mark Goldbridge's tweet.
Mark
Goldbridge
is not real.
Mark Goldbridge isn't here, bro.
I'm not Mark Goldbridge.
No, but then earlier you said name who it is. So I'm naming.
Can't say you're here to state facts.
Okay. So why now are you naming it? But earlier, why did you get aggy with me earlier, Egal? Do you not love me anymore?
No, it's not aggy. What are you talking about? I'm replying. You asked a question. I'm replying.
Your face like all screwed up. It was like, what did I do? Why F me? That's all I felt. But listen, I hear you, bro. Anyone who said this game was going to be easy deserves to be cooked. Someone says Terry can't handle it. I'm not the one challenging Egal. What are you talking about?
My name ain't Terry, bro.
For me, like, but that's Mark Goldbridge. Like, go see if he lets you on his platform. I don't know if he will.
Him, bro.
Damn.
No, that's not a dig. That's the truth. I guarantee he doesn't let you on. Like, he doesn't.
I'm glad he came on.
That's not a dig. That's the truth.
That's
like,
different.
For me, it's like, imagine coming for me for something that Brett said. You know,
Listen. You did challenge me though on the
When?
Monday show when you asked me verbatim. Do you think any of these injuries are now going to cost us a cup or one of these competitions? And I did say that it was going to cost you the Europa League. I was clear in my point with the Europa League.
What I called you out on Monday was you do like fence sitting analysis. You say it could all fall apart, but you know what? You could still
do the same thing, Terry.
No, I don't.
When you give nuance, it's not fence sitting.
Hang on, my bro. No. Let me explain it. So, if you ask me a direct question, do I think X is going to happen or Y is going to happen? I'll give you a definitive answer. As the host of a show, my job is to essentially talk out of both sides of my mouths, play devil's advocate, ask questions, take questions from the panel, take questions from the viewers, super chats, play the other side and go, well, what about this point of view? What about this side of things? That's not an opinion. A question is never an opinion. But when it comes to giving opinions, I always give very straight, very direct, very concise opinions about what I think will or will not happen. What happened on Monday is I said, you were saying United's whole season could fall apart with these injuries. And all I said to you is, what do you think will happen then? So you then said we could go out of the Europa League, and you were absolutely right. And we did tonight, and you were spot on. I challenged you on Monday because you didn't give a definitive answer. You said you said your season may fall apart, but you could still go through. That for me isn't an answer. That
was a fence.
That's just like an obvious thing.
You pushed back because I made it clear with Varane out with Rashford still not fully fit, and with what do you call it, Martinez out, I said you're out of the Europa League. I said the FA Cup you can still get through, and top 4 is shaky.
Bro, you said that after you said both things, and that's great. And that's what I want from people on the terrace. When I say this is a situation, give me an opinion on it, I want to know what you think. So for me, I don't sit on the fence with very few opinions. Do I sit on the fence on? Unless it's a subject matter that I have no real insight on. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care, or I don't know too much about it. But I always give straightness. But don't confuse hosting a show with my personal opinion. A lot of people do. To be fair, when I ask questions, I do it on transfers a lot. Someone will say, "Oh, Terry, you said you thought Declan Rice was going to Chelsea. Now you've just done a story saying that Arsenal are leading the race." I'm like, yes, because a new media outlet has said, the new story has said Arsenal were leading the race. So I do the story on it and I go, but you said a year ago that Chelsea were leading the race. Yeah, well, that's what that story said. So that's not me changing my opinion. That's me reading a story out loud. There's a fundamental difference between those two things.
Okay, let me ask you about something that actually happened today, though. David De Gea.
Yeah.
Do you think obviously you're bringing in a new goalkeeper next year? Is it wise to give him a new contract, or do you think you're just using him as a stopgap in between the new?
Yeah, I think what you just said there is bang on. I think his new deal is going to be a much lower basic wage, about 150 to 200,000 pound a week of his basic wage gone. It'll be performance related. What that does for us is David De Gea, in terms of shot stopping, is still one of the best in the world. He pulls off saves that you go, wow, how did he do that? You need to be very careful that you don't go and do a Claudio Bravo situation where you bring a guy in that's good with his feet, who is horrendous at stopping shots, because you actually notice that far more than you do these bad passes out from the back in reality. So we need to be very, very careful. And I almost like the idea of a new guy coming in. So let's say it's the guy I want, which is Diogo Costa. If he comes in and becomes the number one, and slowly you kind of phase David De Gea out, maybe next summer he leaves, he's the backup goalkeeper for a year. I'm more comfortable with that. Personally, if our manager is saying, I'm going to stick with David De Gea, he's my number one for the next 3 or 4 years. Personally, I think that's a massive mistake.
Okay. And Sunshine, are you going to be watching any more of the Europa League now that you're out?
Say again, sorry?
Are you going to be watching any more of the Europa League now that you're out?
I only watch my own teammate when they were playing. I don't tune in to watch Arsenal's game. I don't do them.
Have you watched any of the Champions League this year?
Say again, sorry?
Have you watched any of the Champions League this year?
What, Arsenal?
No, Champions League.
Foreign teams. Yeah, foreign teams I've got every time for. Like local teams, no, unless we're playing.
Okay, so why are you watching competitions you're not in then?
What?
Because you literally it's the same thing. We were
never what? I see.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we love Egal.
Wait, no.
Because earlier you said, why are you watching Manchester United on a Sunday?
Yeah.
On a Thursday night, right?
I never mentioned Thursday night.
They aren't Man United.
Okay, so here's your answer, right? When you make a statement of and you start bantering people for playing in the Europa League. By the way, I've never done that. Only people in the Conference League. I don't rate it. But and you start bantering, say you're playing Europa League and you're watching it. Why then would you go and watch it yourself if you think it's that bad? I don't think Europa League is that bad. Let me answer.
I never said that.
Listen, you ask your second question, no problem. Let me answer. So to your point, again, I see what you tried to do, rate it, but again, you do a lot of talking but don't really say nothing. I work with people like you. It's mad. But anyway, I'll be specific. I'll be specific. If you make a statement of, or you come with banter from a negative standpoint, saying the Europa League is bad and you're playing in it and you're watching it, right? Why then would you watch it yourself if you think it's bad? I watch Champions League because I rate it.
I rate the Europa League to a certain degree because I wouldn't have gone to go watch Arsenal lose their final game. That's one.
You rate your team whether they play or not. You watch them in Conference League.
Number two, my point was at your earlier statement where you said, why are you watching Man United? Hence why I made that comment. It has nothing to do with me not rating the competition. It only has to do with what you said. Now, bringing it back.
So what did I say? What's my question?
Your question was, why are you watching Man United on a Thursday night?
No. That's half the question. The context before the question. So the context and then the reason why I asked that question. Don't look confused.
You're the one talking in circles. You're not making sense.
Okay, let me make sense one more time. Let's try one more time, people.
That's the issue.
Go ahead.
If you make a statement, right?
I never made this
I'm asking you the question. You don't understand. Let me ask. One more time. Last time, right? If you banter someone,
I didn't banter you. I made a point about the game.
The fact that you're trying to not listen shows me you don't want to answer this question.
Go ahead. I'm not going to say a word.
Okay, right. So, if you banter me, yeah, me and you, let's say you banter me, say, oh, Neji, you're watching Europa League next season, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're basically shitting on the Europa League. I'm saying Man United doing it, and I have to go, okay, yeah, fair enough, I'm watching Europa League. So you're showing me that you disrespect the Europa League, you don't rate it, and you're laughing that we're playing in it. So why do you watch it if you think them things? That is the most simple question ever.
Okay, can I respond?
Okay, go for it.
I rate the Europa League. I wouldn't have paid money to go to 2 Europa League games this season. I wasn't making fun of Man United being in the Europa League. I'm merely making fun of the fact you got knocked out of the B competition that you're making fun of. That's it.
Fair. Yeah. Okay.
Bro, I'm not saying. Oh, you know what?
I get all of that. I get all of that.
Yeah, I'll messed up the flow.
any more questions, Egal, from you, my brother?
You know what? Shout out to the people who predicted Man United were going to get knocked out today. Staff, I know you predicted it. Some of you guys already knew this was going to happen, and you weren't going to get yourselves too drawn in and emotional. And you know what? You still are going to have a good season because you won the Carabao Cup. You could still win the FA Cup, and you're going to probably get top 4. So you know what?
Do you know? Yeah, I agree with you. Do you know what's interesting? I mean, I said to KJ, I said to you earlier, didn't I? Today, I was like, I don't have a good feeling about tonight. I didn't do a preview on it, but I was like, I rang him up. But like, we got a panel tonight because I think this could be a big one. Like, I had a feeling that we were going. It's just one of those, you know, sometimes you only get it about your own club where you're like, I don't feel so great about this.
Wait, DZ, DZ.
I don't know.
Sorry, DZ. Didn't I listen? I said in the group chat, the Man United group chat that we got, he's like, okay, listen, guys, I don't feel like today's the day. And this guy's going, oh, quiet, KJ. Where's the positivity? So don't you?
Hear me out. Listen.
I forgot. Casemiro, did you mention him?
No, listen to me. Here's the thing. I didn't have a good feeling either. I just didn't want, but I didn't want
you to put it out there. You want to put it out
into the east.
By the way, yeah, I didn't put it into a group chat with rivals, and I kept it between me and KJ in a business meeting. But by your point, Egal, like Casemiro had a bad game tonight. But again, what I don't do is like, I don't know. For me, I'm getting bored of certain analysis now, and people will call me out and say, "Oh, it's just because it's Casemiro tonight." No, how good is Haaland in your opinion, Egal?
How good is Haaland? He's amazing. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to catch you out. Just always go with it.
He's a problem, Terry.
If he goes 3 games out scoring and drops a stinker, is he any less of a player?
No.
Which is why I'm not going to fall for the traps on Casemiro tonight. Casemiro's career and quality isn't in question because of a bad game tonight. The same as Thomas Partey was shocking against West Ham, right?
Yeah, he has been bad for a couple games.
But that doesn't mean that he hasn't been one of the best DMs in Europe this year, does it?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So I get you saying it, but he has been called out tonight. I called him out in the beginning of the show. He had a bad game, but I'm never going to kind of go too far in on someone that, generally speaking, is so good for it. It's like when Rashford scores 5 games running, doesn't score on the 6th. Are you still backing him, Terry? Yeah. I sometimes feel like again, that's where like banter for me just goes too far. It's
you know what? Fair play, Terry. You've called out Jadon Sancho numerous times now, and it's good to see that you guys are finally like getting on the right people. It's not like it's just a thing where it's not just you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about I'm seeing it from the fan base now.
I hear you. This is the thing for me. Like, I always call out the right people. In my opinion, do you know how I always know I call out the right people? Because so many Man United fans online hate me. That's how I know I do the right thing. Generally, if you're not liked online by your own, like certain, not by all your fans, but like by top reds. If you're not liked by top reds, you're generally doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? You're generally doing the right thing. Same in the Arsenal fan base, same in the Liverpool fan base. It's why Sam has called out the right things at Liverpool for years. That's why certain Liverpool fans don't like him. So I kind of take
so because Egal don't like Lee Gunner, that means Lee Gunner's right then. Is that what you're saying there, Terry?
Jeez.
I'm always wrong.
Lee Gunner, no, you're not always wrong about things, Egal. I'll back you on that. Lee Gunner in the last couple of games, it's funny because I put out clips of his. People go mad. And I'm like, you didn't listen to the clip because he's backed Arteta in both. What he's called out is like bad mentality from fans, forgiving mistakes and saying we need to be harder on the players and we need to have more of elite mentality. the previous week, he called out mistakes from certain players. But again, still backed the manager and said the players have got to do this. He expects this from the players moving forward. It isn't fair on the manager. And I'm like, see, people don't always listen. And that's the problem when you have a predisposition on what somebody's going to say, you stop listening to what they say. And he's kind of been called out for things where I'm like, nah, he's actually backed Arteta in the last 2 games for Arsenal. The fans not slamming the players a detriment in the club because you're letting the players get off with murder. And that's what I think we've done right tonight, because our stream might not be seen by anybody in the squad, but lots of fans will see it. A lot of them will echo it, and it will echo across the internet. It will make its way into the dressing room. What we say counts. As fans, our voices are massive, and we should always be doing the right things for our football club as far as I'm concerned anyway. But of course, I'm going to say that because I love fan media. Didn't Terry back Sancho during the season? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I did back him. He went away, got sent to the mountains for training, and I was like, okay, this even can come back. He's one of my players, so I'm going to get behind him, and I'm going to give him support. He came back and did some good games. He had some good moments, but I haven't seen enough from him. And tonight, he had a terrible game, but the straw that broke the camel's back is pulling out that challenge on the edge of the box. It's inexcusable.
Can't do that, man.
Inexcusable for me. I understand a 30-year-old man in a Sunday league game pulling out of a tackle that might break his leg because it might put him out of work for 6 months and damn it, and he can't pay his mortgage. Then I get it. But you know what? Most Sunday league players won't do that. They care about their team. They care about winning. To see a professional footballer that I never want to play his career to end ever. But the more rich and famous and higher level you play at, the less risk to your life and your family getting a major injury is, because you've already got the money. You don't need it. That's what I never understand, the concept of a professional footballer pulling out of a tackle or bottling it. It's like, if it does go wrong and your career's over because of it, you've still got about 20 million pounds in the bank. You're golden. Do you know what I'm saying? I never understand it. But yeah, listen, I did back him. I'm not backing him anymore. He needs to be sold by Manchester United straight up.
And are you guys worried?
Not rating a cup doesn't mean you can't watch your rivals play in that tournament. If Man United wasn't playing, would you watch it? And that's a hell no.
No, I was watching West Ham also.
No, he's talking to Neji.
What are you saying, sorry?
The super chat's talking to you.
Bro, not rating a cup doesn't mean you watch your rivals play. Okay, it's not about rating the cup. When you use a competition to slander another person and their team, you are instinctively showing disrespect to that league and that team, because you're not rating. You are not rating the league, and you're putting the rival team in that league.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what I hear.
Asking, does Egal miss it for him to actually go and watch our team in that league, or does he miss Man United? What are you doing? I don't literally tune in. When Arsenal in Europa League, right? I never tuned in to watch Arsenal in Europa League. I was waiting for the result and I left.
So Naji, maybe he was tuning in to have a laugh.
Maybe he was.
Maybe he was tuning in to have a laugh.
Maybe Neji's not a football purist, because I actually watch games that I review.
Purist. This here says that's a bad take, Terry. How's it a bad take? Like, I'm not saying I want Sancho to get injured. I'm just stating, other than avoiding injury, why would a man pull out of a tackle? My point is,
he doesn't have the half of the tackles.
When you're a pro footballer with all that money, I can't fathom an excuse. I understand someone not getting into a ring and taking punches to the head that might end their life. Someone getting into a high-speed car and doing you know what? For a laugh, I'm going to race Lewis Hamilton. No, that's dumb. You could die. You're not going to die from that tackle tonight. You're not, right? So I don't understand the logic other than being scared of pulling out of that tackle. And I'd say Sancho's face as well, because
he's never going to reach Theo Walcott's level.
5'7" and 10 stone. I'm really not scared. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Even if he's mandem, I'm really not scared. Me and my boys would make them shiver in their boots. Trust me.
Remember, Terry, when he joined Man United? Remember when he joined Man United? We had a conversation.
Sorry, bro.
Remember when he joined Man United? KJ, you might remember this also. I don't know if you remember also, Terry. But we were talking about Theo Walcott, and we're saying if he ever replicates Theo Walcott's best season, that's like where I think his peak would ever be. And you guys are like, no, he'll smash 10 and 10 easy. He'll get 10 and 10 easy.
I thought he would. And do you know what, Egal? you were right about. You're bloody Notre Dame, you, ain't you?
Hey, I've learned from the best, eh?
Yeah, you are. You are. You love it. You love it. You love it. You're right about him. You're right about him. How tall are you, Terry, bro? 5'10". I bought some new shoes off this Instagrammer. I'm now 6 foot because I've added 2.7.
Oh, you got that 2-inch heel thing. Oh,
I didn't buy him. I didn't really buy him. They keep messaging me going, "Do you want to advertise this?" I'm like, I might pass out to KJ because KJ's short, but
Listen. This is a myth. Terry, I'm basically as good size as you, bro. So you call yourself short. Let's not cap.
Terry is 5'8". How many of you here have met me? How many of you have met me?
He's not 5'8".
Izzy, I'm not 5'8". You know how to do that.
No, he's not 5'8".
There we go. But remember, like, oh, I'm getting echo from someone. It's gone now. But yeah, I'm not scared of Jadon Sancho. Like, legit, I don't mean it rude. I don't want to fight him, but I don't dislike Sancho. But I think some of you are shook. Why are we scared of him? I'm not scared of any Adiak and Fenwa, maybe. I ain't scared of any footballer. Like, none of I don't know about you, like kids watching. I'm not scared of any footballer. Like, would I get Larry to Deontay Wilder or AJ? No. Like, I mean, hello, boss. How you doing? These guys aren't dangerous. They're footballers. They're not gangsters.
What about Pickford?
Baby oil.
Traore, yeah, maybe a little bit of that. But equally, like, we're not talking about MMA fighters. Like, would I give it the big one to Conor McGregor? Ibrahimovic.
Probably leave him alone.
You roundhouse kick.
I don't want that smoke. But yeah. KJ is our short king.
No, I am not.
No.
You man crown your own short king. I am not your king, bruv. I am not your king. Like flipping who's on the throne now? Freaking Charles. I am not your king. Like flipping Charles, bruv.
I like that. Well, he'll be our king soon on Coronation Day. I can't. Do you know what it is? I don't really care. I'm just looking forward to the day off. Do you know what I mean? It'll be a nice day, little garden party, little barbecue, get in the swimming pool. We'll all be in our pools, won't we? And that over the weekend. Well, I will. You've got a pool. You must have a pool, Mo. You're in America. You must have a pool.
I've lots of pools, but yeah.
Lots of pools. Did you have a pool in Canada, Egal?
I lived in a condo, so no.
So you had a pool in the condo. You had a pool and a garden and everything.
But
of course, they have a big pool.
It's not like I had a house.
I remember the first time I landed. One of the first times I went to America. I went to San Jose. I remember landing in the plane, looking down. Me and my boy. He was from Manchester. I was from London. We were about 15, 16. No, that's the first time we went by ourselves. I mean, and we were looking down. And we're like, look, everyone's got a swimming pool. Couldn't believe it. I was like, there's that one dude near me had one when I grew up. And by the way, I've only got one because I bought a house with one. And they hid it. People don't know this story. I didn't buy a house because it had a swimming pool. The way they did their garden, they didn't advertise they had a swimming pool because nobody wanted to buy the house with one because they're so hard to bloody run. Bought it. The garden was full of crap. And I was like, oh, we'll do it up nice. We were living there like 2 months. Then started like clearing out the garden. Taking all this decking and crap away, there was a fucking swimming pool in the garden that they didn't tell us about. I was like, wow. I mean, I was happy. I was happy personally. Yeah, it was crazy, but there we go. It's all good. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been a good therapy session.
I feel much better.
You know what it is? I haven't really.
You have to feel better. Like, look at.
I haven't had a drink. I don't really drink anymore. I will discuss like. I've had a lot of health problems in the last 6 months, and I do feel I always say this and then shit myself. It could go wrong. I am on the road to recovery now. I just got hit with this really bad kind of chest situation just as I started to feel better. I haven't really had a drink very often because, contrary to reports, I don't need alcohol to have a good time. But tonight I thought I'd have a few drinks. It's Jackie Boy's birthday, and we went out tonight. But I don't feel bad. Feel bad. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna have a couple more drinks tonight. They're gonna go to bed and I'm gonna get up tomorrow morning and
you forgot the PJs, Terry.
I don't sleep in PJs. I sleep butt naked. That's what I do. You know what I mean? They all hang out. Do you know what I mean? But that's why I use Manscaped. Keep it all clean.
Hey, can I say something quickly?
Of course you can, brother.
I just want to say Eid Mubarak to everyone because I know a lot of the Muslim people will be celebrating the end of Ramadan tomorrow and the following day also. So just shout out to all the viewers.
Eid Mubarak.
absolutely. I'm not going to repeat any of that because I have had a drink and I don't want to be disrespectful. But absolutely 110% to everybody celebrating Eid. I know that it's a very important time of the year to everybody that celebrates. Terry, just accept the fact that Man United are miles away from competing with Liverpool and City next season.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Brethren.
I'm not accepting it.
Brethren.
I just have to sneak your name in there like all the names.
I'm not accepting it. I'm not accepting it. But
Come on, man. Liverpool.
I'm not accepting it at all.
They're taking a piss, man. We're easy bait tonight, man. I am anyway. I'll be honest. I'm
No
easy
way.
cracker for him. Like, let's go.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Everybody that's tuned in, a massive thank you to all of you. Massive numbers tonight, as always, because United lost. You all tune. I would love you rivals to turn up to a Man United win, because you all tell me things I say, but none of you watch when we win. So you don't know what I say. Make sure you're tuning in. We're back tomorrow. Top 6 show at 5. Match reactions to Southampton and Arsenal. So make sure you're tuning in. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Happy birthday, Jackson. Love you loads, son.